Justin never expected that a single argument with his wife would become the starting point for betrayal. Just one night at his best friend's house, and his familiar world shattered. In a dark hallway, among unfamiliar walls, he was met by a gaze full of secret desire. By morning, Justin realized what had happened was impossible to forget and impossible to hide. But before you get comfortable, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which city you're watching from and what time it is there. I'm really curious to see who's joined us. Now, get cozy. We're about to begin. Justin's evening had turned into a silent storm. He had not planned for the argument with Scarlett, his wife, to spiral so quickly. Their raised voices, each blaming the other for small grievances, echoed through the neatly furnished house. In the end, Justin grabbed his car keys and left, not even sure where he was headed. He found himself driving through the quiet, suburban streets until he reached Michael's house. Michael was Justin's old college friend, reliable, humorous, and always ready to help. The two had been through a lot together, and Michael's home had always been a sanctuary during troubled times. Justin rang the bell, shifting from foot to foot. He wore a fitted dark blue shirt and slim black jeans, still dressed from a long workday. But the top button now open, revealing a bit of tanned skin at his neck. His build was athletic, tall, with broad shoulders and a square jaw shadowed by a hint of stubble. His chestnut hair was a little tousled, betraying his agitation. Michael greeted him with his usual bear hug and a joking remark about trouble in paradise. "Come in, man. You look like you need a drink," Michael said, leading him inside. The living room was cozy, full of warmth and the familiar scent of coffee and wood. As Justin made himself comfortable on the couch, Michael disappeared to the kitchen. That's when Justin heard a gentle laugh coming from the hallway. He turned to see a young woman, probably in her early 20s, with long, sun-kissed blonde hair flowing down her back. She was wearing a silky, light pink camisole pajama set, shorts and a top on delicate straps that showed off her slender shoulders and the gentle curve of her figure. The fabric hugged her waist and hips, accentuating her narrow waist, shapely thighs, and a firm, round bottom. Underneath, the outline of delicate white lace lingerie was visible, hinting at a slightly above-average bust. Her skin glowed with a healthy blush, and her eyes were the clearest blue Justin had ever seen. The girl paused, noticing Justin's gaze, and offered a shy smile. "You must be Justin. Michael's talked about you," she said, her voice soft but confident. "That's me," Justin replied, trying to steady his heartbeat. "And you must be—" "Amelia, Michael's little sister. I'm just here for a few days," she replied, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. Michael returned with drinks, grinning as he saw the two sizing each other up. "I see you've met Amelia. Don't believe a word she says about me." As the evening wore on, the three of them chatted and laughed. Justin found himself sneaking glances at Amelia. Her laughter was musical, and every time she moved, her pajama shorts shifted, revealing smooth legs and a teasing flash of thigh. The house grew quieter as the night deepened. Michael excused himself to his room, leaving Justin alone in the living room. Amelia lingered, tidying up empty glasses. Their eyes met, and there was a tension, palpable and thrilling. Justin stood, intending to help her, but found himself closer than he expected. Amelia reached past him to grab a coaster, her arm brushing his. Her breath caught, and she looked up at him. In the half-light, he saw the shimmer of her lips and the flush on her cheeks. Without thinking, his fingers traced lightly along her arm, sending goosebumps down her skin. She did not pull away. Amelia leaned in, her lips grazing his cheek in what could have been an accident, but her eyes lingered on his. Justin felt the world shrink to just the two of them. Their lips met in a delicate, lingering kiss, soft, questioning, thrilling in its forbidden promise. They broke apart, both breathless, and shared a guilty smile. "Good night, Justin," Amelia whispered, slipping away down the hall. Justin watched her go, heart racing, mind spinning with guilt, excitement and confusion. He collapsed onto the couch, knowing that tonight everything had changed. The night passed in uneasy fragments for Justin. Every time he drifted off on Michael's couch, he awoke again, heart pounding, haunted by the memory of Amelia's lips and the sudden, thrilling electricity between them. He tried to reason with himself. He was married. This was his best friend's sister, and nothing should have happened. Yet the warmth of that moment clung to him, making sleep impossible. Sometime past midnight, Justin gave up on rest. The quiet house seemed safe and shadowy as he wandered to the kitchen, hoping a glass of water would help. He did not expect to find Amelia there, barefoot on the cool tile, her blonde hair loose and tangled down her back, wearing a thin, pale blue lace robe that only just covered the silk of her short pajama set. Her robe had slipped from one shoulder, revealing the creamy curve of her neck and collarbone, and a glimpse of the delicate strap of her bra. Underneath, her pajama shorts hugged her hips and thighs, while the fabric hinted at the gentle fullness of her figure. Her breasts a touch above average, her waist narrow, her hips gently curved. She jumped a little at his entrance, but quickly smiled. "Couldn't sleep?" she whispered, her voice breathy in the quiet night. Justin shook his head, pouring himself a glass of water. He was hyper-aware of how close they were, how the moonlight through the window made Amelia's skin glow. "No, too much on my mind, I guess," he answered, his voice lower than usual. Amelia leaned against the counter, her robe parting slightly. She seemed comfortable, her posture relaxed, but her eyes searching his face with a kind of hope. "Do you want to talk?" she asked softly. They sat at the kitchen table. The silence between them was gentle at first, and then Amelia began to talk about how she felt lost sometimes, about trying to figure out her place in the world. She mentioned moving to a new city, missing her family, and feeling invisible next to her brother's strong personality. Her openness made Justin feel safe, and he found himself admitting things about his own marriage. The routine, the unspoken resentments, the feeling of drifting apart from Scarlett, even though he still cared for her. Amelia's eyes glimmered as she listened, her gaze never leaving his. Justin couldn't help but notice her every detail. Her slim legs curled beneath her, the elegant lines of her arms, the way her robe slipped and shifted with her movements. He tried to focus on the conversation, But the tension in the room was undeniable. Suddenly, the door creaked, and they both turned. A new figure stepped into the kitchen. Sophia, Michael's girlfriend. She was striking. A tall brunette with olive skin and sharp cheekbones, dressed in a white tank top that clung to her small athletic chest, and fitted grey shorts that showed off her toned legs and narrow hips. Her dark hair was loose over her shoulders, framing her large, dark eyes. Sophia blinked, surprised, then smiled sleepily. "Couldn't sleep either?" she asked, grabbing a glass and sitting down at the table. "Hope you do not mind?" "No, of course not," Amelia replied, and her voice smooth and friendly. Justin saw a subtle tension in Amelia's shoulders now, as if Sophia's presence changed the air between them. They chatted for a while, the conversation lighter now. Favorite movies, summer plans, Sophia's stories about living with Michael. Justin noticed Sophia's casual confidence, the way she stretched her legs and played with her hair. But his mind kept drifting back to Amelia, whose soft blue eyes caught his every few minutes. Under the table, Justin felt the brush of Amelia's bare foot against his ankle. He looked up, and she met his gaze, a small, knowing smile on her lips. The contact was innocent, just a touch, but the thrill shot through him. Amelia shifted her chair, so her knee rested gently against his leg. The tablecloth hid their subtle connection, but Justin's pulse hammered in his ears. Sophia, unaware, kept talking about a funny mishap she'd had with Michael the week before. Amelia's foot slid up Justin's calf, slow and teasing, her touch light as a feather. He tried to keep his face neutral, listening to Sophia, but inside he was burning. When Sophia got up to return to Michael's room, Amelia leaned closer to Justin, her lips near his ear. Her breath was warm against his skin. "Come with me for a minute," she whispered, her voice low and full of promise. Justin followed her quietly down the hall. Amelia paused by the window, the pale moonlight outlining her delicate features. She turned to face him, her robe falling open a little more, showing the matching blue lace bra that cupped her breasts. Her eyes searched his, as if seeking permission, and when Justin nodded, she stepped into his arms. Their bodies pressed together, and Justin's hands found the gentle curve of Amelia's waist. She reached up, fingers sliding into his hair, and their lips met again. This time, the kiss was deeper, more urgent, Amelia's body warm and soft against him, her heart pounding under his palms. Their breathing quickened, and Justin's hands traced the curve of her back, feeling the silk and lace beneath his fingers. Amelia's hands slid beneath his shirt, exploring the hard lines of his torso, sending chills across his skin. Their kiss broke only when they were both gasping, eyes locked, neither wanting to let go. Justin's lips found her neck, leaving a trail of delicate kisses as her arms tightened around him. For a moment, it felt like they were the only two people in the world. A noise from the hallway made them break apart, hearts racing. Amelia smiled, cheeks flushed, eyes bright with excitement and nerves. "We should go back," she whispered. They walked quietly back to the kitchen, pretending nothing had happened. But everything had changed again. There was a new secret between them, a hidden current neither could ignore. Justin lay awake, long after, replaying every touch, every whispered word. The guilt over Scarlett twisted inside him. But he could not deny the electric thrill of being wanted, of feeling seen and needed and alive. Morning sunlight spilled into the living room, warming Justin's face and forcing him awake. For a moment, he lay there, dazed, caught between the comfort of dreams and the memories of the night before. His mind replayed every forbidden glance, every touch under the table, every hungry kiss in the moonlit hallway, guilt mingled with excitement. He tried to push the feelings aside as he got up and stretched, muscles stiff from the too short couch. He heard quiet sounds from the hallway. Someone in the shower. The bathroom door was slightly ajar, steam curling out in ribbons. Justin tried to avert his eyes, but a glimpse of movement caught his attention. Amelia emerged, wrapped in a soft white towel, her blonde hair wet and shining. Drops of water slid down her neck and shoulders, glistening on her smooth, lightly tanned skin. The towel hugged her body, accentuating her curves. The gentle swell of her breasts, the elegant dip of her waist, the rounded fullness of her hips and bottom. Her long legs were bare, the muscles in her thighs and calves taut and graceful as she tiptoed quietly toward her room. Amelia paused, noticing Justin in the living room. For a heartbeat, she seemed uncertain, clutching her towel tighter. Then she smiled, a real, unguarded smile, filled with both shyness and invitation. "Morning," Justin managed, his voice hoarse. "Morning," she replied softly, cheeks tinged pink. The towel slipped a little lower as she brushed damp hair from her forehead. Justin tried not to stare, but the image was burned into his mind. He retreated to the kitchen, pouring himself a mug of coffee. His thoughts were interrupted by the arrival of Michael, still groggy, his dark hair sticking up. "You're up early," Michael grunted, rubbing his eyes. "Yeah, couldn't sleep much," Justin answered, forcing a casual tone. He wondered if Michael suspected anything. But his friend simply grabbed coffee and settled at the table. A few minutes later, Amelia reappeared, now dressed in soft grey leggings and an oversized white t-shirt that hung loosely over her frame. Her hair was damp, falling in waves over her shoulders, and her skin glowed with a fresh, rosy warmth. The outfit was casual, but somehow it made her look even more alluring, her curves visible under the thin fabric, the subtle outline of a lacy bralette beneath. She greeted them both and busied herself making breakfast. Sophia joined them, tying her long brown hair into a messy bun. She wore faded blue jeans and a black sports bra under an open plaid shirt. Her athletic form casual yet striking. She flashed a warm smile at Justin and Amelia, but her eyes lingered on Michael with affectionate teasing. The morning routine unfolded, but tension simmered under the surface. Justin's eyes kept finding Amelia, noticing the way she moved, the delicate line of her collarbone, the way her leggings clung to her thighs and bottom. He felt her gaze return, fleeting but full of meaning. As Michael and Sophia chatted about weekend plans, Justin slipped away, needing air. He found himself in the quiet upstairs hallway, just as Amelia stepped out of her room, brushing her hair. She hesitated, then walked toward him, her steps slow and deliberate. Amelia stopped close, so near he could feel her warmth. Her eyes flickered to the closed doors at either end of the hall, then back to Justin's. Her voice was a whisper. "Can we talk for a second?" He nodded. She reached for his hand, fingers intertwining with his, and gently pulled him into her room. It was small, filled with soft light and the scent of lavender. The bed was neatly made, clothes scattered across a chair. Amelia's leggings, her towel, a delicate powder blue lace bra draped over the back. She let go of Justin's hand, turning to face him. For a long moment, neither spoke. The room felt like its own universe, a quiet bubble where the rest of the world could not intrude. Amelia stepped closer. She reached for the hem of her shirt, lifting it over her head in one smooth motion. Beneath she wore only that delicate blue bralette, thin and lace-edged, the cups soft around her full rounded breasts. Her skin glowed, goosebumps rising in the cool air. Justin stared, heart pounding as she stepped into his arms. Their lips met, slow at first, almost reverent, then deeper, more desperate. Justin's hands traced the curve of Amelia's back, feeling her shiver at his touch. She pressed against him, her body warm and yielding, breath catching as his lips traveled down her neck. Amelia's fingers found the buttons of his shirt, opening them one by one, sliding the fabric off his shoulders. She leaned into him, her hands exploring the hard muscles of his chest and back. Their bodies moved together in a dance that was both gentle and urgent, hungry and tender. Justin's hands slid to her hips, gripping the soft curve, pulling her closer. Amelia's bralette shifted, the lace barely covering her as Justin's lips grazed her collarbone, then lower. For a moment they forgot everything. Marriage, family, the risk, lost in the heat of the moment. A sudden sound, a door opening down the hall, snapped them back to reality. Amelia jumped, hastily pulling her shirt back on. Justin reached for his own shirt, both of them struggling to steady their breathing. "Hey, Amelia, you seen my charger?" Michael's voice echoed from the hallway. Amelia shot Justin a panicked look. "Just a second," she called, forcing calm into her voice. She straightened her hair, grabbed the charger from her dresser, and stepped out, leaving Justin alone in the room, his heart thudding. The shock of almost being caught shook Justin to his core. The guilt and excitement warred within him, leaving him shaken and breathless. Downstairs, as Amelia handed Michael the charger, her cheeks were still pink, her hands trembling slightly. Michael seemed oblivious, but Justin knew how thin the ice beneath him had become. He could feel the eyes of fate watching, waiting for him to slip. The day moved forward, but the energy in the house had shifted. Justin felt as if the air itself hummed with secret tension. Breakfast had finished, and everyone had settled into their routines. Michael and Sophia left together to run errands. Amelia announced she would be working on her laptop in the garden, giving Justin an excuse to sit outside as well, pretending to read on his phone. The backyard was lush, filled with the scents of grass and sun-warmed earth. Amelia had chosen a spot at a little round table beneath a maple tree. Her legs curled under her. She wore a fitted summer dress, soft lavender in color, that hugged her waist and flowed gently over her hips and thighs. The thin straps of the dress showed off her elegant shoulders and neck, and the delicate, lacy outline of a pale pink bralette was faintly visible beneath the fabric. Her hair was gathered in a loose, messy bun, with a few golden strands falling to frame her face. Justin could not keep his eyes away. As the breeze moved the skirt of Amelia's dress, he caught glimpses of her slender thighs, her skin glowing in the sunlight. There was something dreamy about the scene, and yet every detail sharpened the ache of longing inside him. After a while, Sophia returned alone, her arms full of grocery bags. She wore tight pale jeans and a cropped mint green t-shirt, her toned midriff exposed. Her brown hair was loose now, falling in waves around her face. She gave Justin a small smile as she passed him, but her eyes lingered a second longer than before, as if she sensed the undercurrent of tension. Inside, Justin's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, a message from Scarlett. "Can we talk soon? I miss you." The simple words sent a fresh wave of guilt crashing over him. For a moment, Justin sat there, thumb hovering over the screen. Amelia glanced up from her laptop and caught his troubled expression. "Everything okay?" she asked softly, worry in her eyes. Justin tried to smile. "Yeah, it's just Scarlett. She wants to talk." A flicker of something unreadable crossed Amelia's face. She nodded and turned back to her work. But Justin saw her posture stiffen, her fingers pausing on the keys. He got up, wandering inside to refill his water. As he did, Amelia followed, pausing in the doorway, the sunlight spilling around her. She reached out, touching his arm, her fingers feather light against his skin. In the quiet hush of the hallway, their bodies found each other, Amelia pressing her slender frame against Justin's chest, her dress bunching softly between them. Her lips brushed his ear. "I don't want to lose you before I've really had you," she whispered, voice trembling. Justin turned, capturing her mouth in a deep, hungry kiss. Amelia's hands slid up his back, slipping beneath the fabric of his t-shirt, her palms hot and eager. The hallway was filled with the scent of her shampoo, the whisper of fabric as his hands found the soft flare of her hips beneath the dress. They broke apart for breath, eyes locked. Amelia's cheeks were flushed, her lips parted. She looked at him with a mix of hope and sadness. "What happens now?" she whispered. And Justin could only shake his head, lost for words. As footsteps sounded in the entryway, they separated, their secret safe for now. Sophia appeared, catching only the afterglow of their moment. Her gaze flickered from Justin to Amelia, curiosity evident but unspoken. Lunchtime came and went. Conversation at the table was studiously polite. Michael returned carrying a bag of tools for some home project. He chatted animatedly with Sophia, but every so often his eyes darted to his sister and Justin, his brow creasing in subtle suspicion. The afternoon grew slow and heavy. Amelia disappeared into her room. Justin, restless, wandered upstairs, finding himself near her door. He paused, unsure whether to knock or retreat, when the door creaked open. Amelia stood there, her dress replaced by soft cotton shorts and a fitted white tank top. The outline of her pink bralette was clearer now. Her hair was down, tumbling over her shoulders. She invited him in, But their conversation was interrupted by a knock, Sophia asking if Amelia wanted to go for a walk later. Amelia agreed, her smile strained. As dusk fell, Justin sat alone in the living room. The house felt full of secrets. Sophia passed by, pausing just long enough to whisper, "Be careful," her eyes serious. Justin's phone buzzed again. Another message from Scarlett. "I really want to fix this. Call me when you can." He felt caught between two worlds, neither one fully his. Dinner was a quiet affair. Michael's jokes could not lift the heaviness. Amelia wore a simple black dress, hugging her curves, her face thoughtful. Sophia, in soft grey leggings and an oversized hoodie, kept glancing at Justin, her eyes sharp and measuring. After dinner, Justin slipped outside, needing to clear his head. He stood beneath the stars, the night cool on his skin. Amelia joined him, her arms wrapped around herself for warmth. They stood close, the world shrinking to just their breathing and the distant hum of the city. Amelia leaned into him, her hands sliding into his. In the shadows, Justin pressed her against the wall, his lips finding hers in a kiss that was both desperate and searching. Amelia melted into him, her body pliant, her arms wrapping around his neck. His hand explored the curve of her waist, the softness of her bottom beneath the dress. Her breath was hot against his cheek. For a few stolen minutes, the night belonged only to them, filled with touches, whispers, and the sweet ache of longing. As they finally pulled apart, a question hovered between them, unspoken and mysterious. "Will you stay after all this?" Amelia asked, her voice fragile. Justin hesitated, searching her face. He wanted to promise everything, but he could not. "I don't know," he answered honestly. They stood in silence, wrapped in the mystery of what might come next. The next day dawned grey and unsettled, the air heavy with the promise of rain. Inside Michael's house, the usual easy rhythm had broken. Even breakfast felt strained, conversation coming in brief, shallow waves before retreating into silence. Everyone seemed to sense it, though only two knew the truth. Amelia moved through the kitchen with her hair tied back, wearing soft, form-fitting joggers and a cropped pastel sweater that showed a glimpse of her flat stomach. The delicate outline of a lacy white bralette could just be seen beneath. Her figure was flawless, slim waist, gently rounded hips, her bottom perky and accentuated by the fit of her clothes. She caught Justin's eye more than once, her gaze hopeful, then quickly averted. Justin, in sweatpants and a plain black t-shirt, leaned against the counter, lost in thought. He felt as if the house was shrinking around him, each room echoing with secrets. Michael entered, carrying his toolbox and humming to himself. He looked between Justin and Amelia, his expression thoughtful. Sophia, still in her sleepwear, loose shorts, and an oversized t-shirt, hair wild, lingered at the table, eyes sharp and alert. "Anyone up for helping me fix the gutter?" Michael asked, trying to inject some normalcy. Justin nodded quickly, grateful for the distraction. He followed Michael outside, rain already beginning to fall in a light misty drizzle. As they worked, Michael glanced over. "You've been quiet," Michael observed. "Just tired." Justin lied. They finished the repairs in silence, but the tension remained unspoken, growing heavier with every passing hour. Inside, Sophia and Amelia washed dishes together. Sophia glanced over her shoulder at Amelia, her eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "Everything okay?" Sophia asked, voice low. "Yeah, just a lot on my mind," Amelia replied, not meeting her gaze. "Be careful, Amy," Sophia murmured. "Secrets don't stay hidden forever." Amelia nodded, her throat tight. The afternoon dragged on, the house filled with an anxious energy. Michael grew more suspicious, shooting questioning glances at Justin whenever he caught him alone. Sophia seemed to watch everyone, as if waiting for something to snap. As the sun began to set, Michael gathered everyone in the living room, trying to break the tension with a movie night. Amelia curled up at one end of the couch, wrapped in a soft blanket, her legs folded beneath her. Justin sat at the other end, barely able to focus on the film. Sophia and Michael sat together, but even their laughter sounded forced. Halfway through the movie, Amelia stood and slipped quietly from the room. Justin waited a few moments, then followed her, heart pounding. He found her in the hallway, back pressed against the wall, arms folded tightly. Without a word, Justin stepped close, his hands finding her waist. Amelia looked up at him, her eyes shining with fear and longing. He pressed his forehead to hers, their breath mingling. "Are you okay?" he whispered. I need you," she breathed, her voice breaking. Justin kissed her, slow and deep, pouring all the tension and confusion into the moment. His hands slid beneath her sweater, finding the warmth of her bare skin, tracing gentle circles over her ribs. Amelia arched into him, her body trembling. Their lips met again and again, the kisses growing hotter, more desperate. Amelia's fingers dug into Justin's back, pulling him closer. The hallway seemed to vanish, leaving only the heat of their bodies, the electric touch of skin on skin. Justin's hand found the curve of her bottom, squeezing gently, making her gasp. Their breathing grew ragged, the sound loud in the silent house. A sudden noise shattered the moment. Sophia stood at the end of the hallway, eyes wide in shock. Amelia froze, her face draining of color. Sophia's gaze flickered from one to the other, realization dawning. For a long, tense moment, no one spoke. I'm sorry," Sophia whispered finally, her voice trembling. She turned and hurried away, leaving Justin and Amelia alone in the charged silence. Amelia buried her face in Justin's chest, tears stinging her eyes. "What are we going to do?" she whispered. Justin held her tight, but the words caught in his throat. He had no answers, only a heart full of guilt, longing, and fear. Downstairs, Michael's voice called out, "Everything okay up there?" Amelia pulled away, wiping her cheeks. "We should go," she said softly, her voice barely more than a whisper. They returned to the living room, their secret dangerously close to unraveling. Sophia sat stiffly beside Michael, her face pale and unreadable. The rest of the evening passed in an uneasy truce, each person lost in their own thoughts. For Justin and Amelia, The conflict between desire and loyalty had finally erupted, leaving them shaken, exposed, and afraid of what tomorrow might bring. Night had fallen heavily, and with it a sense of inevitability settled over the house. Shadows stretched across the quiet rooms, punctuated only by the low hum of voices and the flicker of the television. No one could shake the tension, the sense that something hidden was about to come to light. Sophia moved about the kitchen, eyes shadowed, her mind far away. Michael, sensing her distraction, tried to catch her gaze, but she offered only a tight, strained smile. Upstairs, Amelia sat on her bed, knees drawn to her chest, lost in thought. She wore a soft, oversized sweatshirt and cotton shorts, her hair unbrushed, her face bare and vulnerable. Justin paced the hallway, feeling the walls close in around him. A soft knock at Amelia's door broke the silence. Justin slipped in, closing it gently behind him. Amelia looked up, hope and fear warring in her expression. "What are we going to do?" she asked quietly. Justin sat beside her, taking her hand. "I do not know," he admitted, "but we cannot keep pretending." Amelia nodded, tears glimmering in her eyes. "I do not want to lose you, but I do not want to destroy everything either." He brushed a strand of hair from her face, trying to find the right words. Before he could speak, a voice sounded from the doorway. Michael stood there, his eyes wide, his jaw tight with confusion and hurt. "What's going on?" Michael demanded. Amelia's breath hitched. Justin stood quickly, facing his friend. "Michael, I am sorry. This is not how I wanted you to find out." Michael's gaze shifted between them, disbelief turning to understanding. "You two? Seriously?" His voice trembled with anger and betrayal. Amelia's face crumpled. "It was never meant to happen, Michael. I'm sorry." Michael shook his head, backing away. "I trusted you, Justin. You're my best friend, and that's my sister." The pain in Michael's voice cut deep. Justin's heart twisted, guilt heavy in his chest. "I never wanted to hurt you, man. I'm so sorry." Downstairs, Sophia, hearing the raised voices, hurried up. She stopped on the landing, her eyes searching the faces in the hallway. "What happened?" No one answered at first. The silence was thick, pressing in on them all. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. A sharp, unexpected sound. Everyone paused, startled. Michael, still stunned, went to answer it. Moments later, Scarlett appeared at the door, her presence a final shock to the strained balance of the house. Scarlett was beautiful as ever, her russet hair falling in soft waves, her figure elegant in dark jeans and a fitted jacket. She stepped inside, her eyes full of nervous hope. "Hi, Michael. I know this is strange, but..." Her gaze caught Justin's. "I needed to see you. I needed to fix things." Seeing the tension on everyone's faces, Scarlett's smile faltered. "Did I interrupt something?" No one spoke. The truth seemed to hang in the air, a living, breathing thing. Sophia stepped forward, her voice gentle. "Maybe it's time everyone talked." They gathered in the living room, the atmosphere electric with vulnerability and anticipation. Michael stood by the window, arms crossed. Amelia and Justin sat together, hands entwined. Scarlett perched on the edge of the couch, her posture wary but open. Sophia lingered by the door, a silent witness. The conversation started haltingly. Justin admitted his feelings for Amelia. How everything had begun as a mistake, but how it had grown into something real. Amelia, voice trembling, confessed her longing and confusion, her fear of hurting everyone she loved. Michael's anger broke, replaced by hurt and sadness, but also a glimmer of understanding as he listened to their honesty. Scarlett, her eyes shining with tears, spoke last. "I still care about you, Justin. I do not know what happens next, but I want to try. I want us to be honest." As the emotions spilled over, Scarlett and Justin shared a long, silent gaze. There was pain, but there was also forgiveness, a spark of something new. Amelia squeezed Justin's hand, her own tears falling quietly, but she managed a small, hopeful smile. Sophia cleared her throat, a knowing look in her eyes. Maybe this is a chance for everyone to start over. Maybe secrets only hurt when they stay secrets. In the gentle hush that followed, the group found something close to peace. Not perfect, but honest. Michael hugged his sister, whispering that he would always love her no matter what. Scarlett took Justin's hand, and though nothing was decided, the warmth between them was real. Later, as the house settled into quiet, Justin stepped outside into the cool night air. Amelia joined him, her arms sliding around his waist. Scarlett watched from the doorway, a bittersweet smile on her lips. There, beneath the stars, Justin felt a fragile hope take root. A sense that even with all the pain and risk, something good could still grow. The night was alive with possibility, and he was no longer afraid of where the truth might lead.